Hi, welcome to Heath's Herbs. I'm Heath, and today we're going to be cleaning the Arizer XQ2. So the things you're going to need: isopropyl alcohol, about 99%. You do want the higher ones because it will work better. Because I'm doing this on video, I'm going to have a little bowl. Normally I would do this over a sink. So what a lot of people do is actually reclaim the bits and pieces after they've cleaned everything out. I do not do that, so I will not be doing this in a way that makes it easy. Because I'm using a bowl, it will. You'll see. The other thing I like to have is, this is actually just a little tight vac container, and in it I put all my dirty screens so that I can just clean them all in one shot. I'm also going to need my glass pieces. So to make it easier, I like to take off the rubber stoppers. So because I actually use the two different bowls, this is the Cyclone bowl and this is the Connoisseur bowl, I also use two different of the whip attachments. And if you notice, there is a considerable difference in how dirty they are. And the interesting thing is, this one I have used with loose cannabis, and this one I have used exclusively with the capsules from the Mighty from Stores and Bickle. So it is sort of interesting to see the difference. So both of these currently have screens in, so I'm just going to pop those screens out, put them in my container. Oh, this one is stuck. There we go. So one of the things that I have done to make this whole process easier and not have to do it so often is actually on Amazon. I just purchased this container, and inside, if I turn it around the right way, is actually a bunch of those screens. So if one gets dirty, I can just pop it out, stick it in here, and clean them all in one shot later. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of the ISO, just enough to cover everything in here. I like to use the tool that they provide because it tends to get a little gunky too. So I'm just going to give it a stir and let it sit. Next, I'm going to put enough ISO in this bowl so that I can get all inside. The other way to do this is also Q-tips. This is why I say that I don't reclaim. Q-tips you cannot reclaim. So what you can do is you can actually just soak all your pieces in the isopropyl alcohol for a period of time, and it should help clean it up, and then you can reclaim. So I'm going to get my Q-tip nice and wet and just swirl that around. And it's going to be gross. It's pretty gross, but not the end of the world. If you do have the screen in it, I do have a flat screen in it, you can get some stuff stuck behind it. If that bothers you, you're going to block it with your finger, or actually I'm going to put my thumb all the way in just to make it easier. You're going to pour some in. And then you're going to shake it. I poured it in the wrong side. Sorry. You want to pour it on the bottom side of the screen. And you're just going to shake that. Going to use another Q-tip just to make sure that everything is out. Okay, now this one I'm just going to let air dry. So we're going to do the same thing to the other bowl. Because this one I only use with the capsules from Stores and Bickle, this part actually does not get that dirty. So it's not going to take too much. There, that one's done. These ones are a little harder to do. The reason for that is, of course, this wonderful bulb at the bottom means that your Q-tips can't quite go in, but you can give it a good try. So what you can also do, and what I have done, is I have actually poured salt in first, just regular table salt, and that's just a abrasive. So you're gonna pour a little bit in. And of course make a mess. And so as you can see, it's just sitting in that bowl. I'm going to block both ends with my thumb and just shake it. Okay, same thing, just let it drain into the bowl. Take my Q-tip, get those extra little bits. Oh, those are all dirty. So as you can see, the Q-tip can't quite get all the way. I do have brushes that I use. I forgot to grab one, but they also can't quite get all the way in. So I try to just get it as clean as I can. Spend some time. There, that's even better. Get some of that off there. It doesn't need to be perfect because remember, you are going to be using it again. Now, if you're me and you have pets, you might notice that somehow you got a dog hair in there. There we go, dog hair's out. Okay, I'll do this one later. So cleaning the bags is a little bit of a different scenario. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna pop this connector off so you can take the mouthpiece out. Once the mouthpiece is out, this is what you're gonna do. You're just going to pour some ISO directly into the bag. Maybe a little more. And then put that mouthpiece back in just because it's a nice stopper. Now to make it easier, I like to blow up the bag. Remember, you're using isopropyl alcohol, so do not breathe in close to the bag. Like I just did. So once the bag is extended, there we go. Shake it. You're just going to run that ISO all through the inside of the bag. I have to admit, the bags, I don't actually clean that often. I only clean them when they get too sticky to stay to be used. So then we're just going to open it up. Take this off again. This time we're actually going to take the connector right off. And then you're just going to pour the ISO out. Once again, you can add salt for an abrasive. Now what I like to do with these bags, just to make sure that they're good to go, is I will turn it inside out to dry. So once it's completely inside out, I quite often will just hang it from my shower So then it can dry, and you know that you're not going to have any ISO sticking around by accident. Okay, so while that dries, just gonna hang it over here for now. You're going to clean the mouthpiece. Once again, these mouthpieces I also find don't need cleaning that often. I like to take off the rubber pieces just so I can make sure to actually see what is going on in the glass. So I can see that this side is pretty clean. This side's a little gunky. And that makes sense because this is the side that goes into the elbow to actually get everything. So once again, you're just gonna put your ISO, grab a Q-tip, stick it in there. And let it drain out. And there you go. That one's clean. So you always let this air dry just to make sure that no ISO is left behind. So now we're gonna do the screens. For the screens, I'm gonna once again give them a really good stir. And then using this, I'm actually going to hook them one by one to take them out of the ISO. And just sort of scrape the inside of the basket just to make sure it gets any little gunkies out. And then I have a clean screen that I can put in my case to be used next time. And I'm just going to repeat this process. And then I'll show you guys what the ISO looks out like after doing all of this. I'm having troubles hooking them. There's one. Oh, that one doesn't even have any hangers, so I'm just gonna put it in. Now, this is the ISO that is actually going to be the darkest. Which can make it hard to see what you're doing because I use a black container, which isn't that smart. I'm gonna use my finger. So both of these ones could use just a little scrape. Yep. Put it in the bowl, in the case. I think I have two more in here. So this is actually going to be the darkest brown. So I know it's going to be hard to see. But this is my ISO. It has a very, very light brown to it. If I wanted, I could actually just now leave this bowl to evaporate all the ISO. And then I can scrape out the bowl and use what's left behind. The machine. The machine is actually pretty simple to clean. Just gonna put the lid on this. The outside of the machine can just be wiped with a damp cloth. Do not submerge ever. It's electronics. Hopefully you guys know that. And then to clean the inside, once again, handy Q-tip, dip it in the ISO. And I'm just gonna do swirlies all the way up and down. And I'm gonna touch the inside and the outside rim of this chamber. As you can see, I got a little bit out, but not too much. And that's because this really doesn't get too dirty if you're using your screens and using it properly. So that is how I clean my Arizer XQ2. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please be sure to let me know.